So this video starts off on Thursday morning. Today is the day our HVAC contractor is coming out to hopefully finish up putting the air conditioning in the new shop. John Sayer, the owner of Sayer Heating and Cooling, advised us we'd be better off to separate the air conditioning zones in the office from the main shop. So they're using a mini split to cool the office, while the main shop will use this 5-ton heat pump made by Rude. Well, I hope you put that pad in the right spot.
It's in the spot. It's fine.
Once we had the air conditioning unit set on the pad, the next thing we needed to get taken care of today is the brakes on the back of my dually, which was a job that I had originally given to Tanner. But from my understanding, Bucko has now hijacked the project. Neither of them seem to be happy about the time frame in which they need to complete the job. How are we doing in here?
We're doing.
Is it going back together?
It's going back together.
Do we got new bearings?
We do have new bearings.
Did April drop them off?
She sure did.
Oh, I missed it.
She did.
Well, thankfully, April came through. Buckwheat tore into this thing and decided to replace everything under the sun.
Tore into it. He tore into it.
Well, I asked him to tear into it and put brakes on it.
The bearings are shot. The parking brakes are shot. The rotors are shot. Everything is shot.
Well, I replaced everything that I needed. I didn't know the bearings were bad.
It calls like for 8 hours, and that's if you're just doing calipers and that.
Oh, horse. 8 hours? Tanner.
I had to lay underneath the truck while he spun the rotors while I hit him with a hammer just to get them off.
Okay, so it's difficult.
It's quite difficult.
No, it's like a Chevette. It's easy. It takes 10 minutes.
Listen, we don't need to worry about the parking brakes. I don't use the parking brakes.
So you're telling me you're never going to park this thing on any type of an incline with a race car trailer hooked to it with a car loaded in it and everything you own in it sitting on the parking cog and the transmission of this thing?
Well, now that you tell me that there's a problem with it, no, I wouldn't do that.
She thinks ahead, Bucko.
Who? You smoking crack?
I haven't been to your house.
Eventually, my two associates got the truck put back together, and then it was time for a test drive.
Test driving Dummy's truck.
From my understanding, the truck seemed to be doing just fine until the brakes got a little heat in them.
What's that noise? Good grief. Looks like a warranty for the Minion.
While Buckwheat and Tanner are working on my truck trying to get some things ironed out, down at our local track, the Hot Rod Power Tour has begun moving in. They are expecting over 6,000 cars to come through the gate today, with participants coming from all over the country, and a handful of them plan on making an appearance at my house. One of which showed up in a 1963 Galaxy 500 patrol car. A car which may look familiar to some of you guys that have been watching our family over the last couple of years.
I don't have the leg stamina anymore.
A couple of years ago, when COVID first happened, everyone was on lockdown. You couldn't go anywhere or do anything publicly. So there wasn't much traffic out on the roads. So we took the opportunity to start making a short film about transporting moonshine in a 55 Chevy and running from the police. The guy who played the police officer's name is Todd Beckett, and we haven't seen him since we finished filming The Shiners. Less than a year after the short film was finished, Todd's health took a turn for the worse. Eventually, he was diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer. Every once in a while, I would get a call from Todd or a message from some of his friends around his hometown of Massillon, Ohio, to let me know how he's doing. After a long, hard year-and-a-half battle, Todd has finally begun to bounce back. And today is the first time he's ventured this far away from home by himself in his old patrol car. And as it turns out, the first place he wanted to go is to go visit the film crew. What the hell did I do to deserve a visit from you today?
You didn't pay overdue tickets.
Oh.
He's here to collect.
A citizen's arrest?
Yes.
Or are you on official business?
Yeah, it's official business. Checkpoint chickies.
A few minutes later, old Barn got caught up in a checkpoint of his own. It turns out he didn't tell his family he was getting ready to take off on a road trip in the Galaxy. He just left a handwritten note on the table, "I'm headed to National Trails." So he had some answering to do when his wife called and asked what in the hell he's thinking, taking off for a 2.5-hour road trip in a 63 Galaxy with no air conditioning.
The new thing now is electric air conditioning off of an electrical car, and you can mount a compressor anywhere.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
so I'm doing
well.
my research, and I think at this point I'll add air to it.
Nice.
And
Those EV cars are good for something then.
Yes.
As warm as it's about to get over the next few weeks, it's a good thing Todd's considering air conditioning, and it's a good thing that the air conditioning is almost finished in our shop. But the heat and lack of air conditioning in his Galaxy wasn't going to keep him from going out to the track.
Catch us if you can.
Have fun.
When Todd asked if I would take him down to the track in his old Galaxy, there was no way I could tell him no. It only takes about 5 minutes to get from our house down to the track, and it took longer to drive there than it did for Todd to get back into character. When we got to the track, the charging system in the Galaxy seemed to be having a problem. So I started investigating that while Todd started some investigations of his own. Hey, you wouldn't happen to have seen a snow cone place, have you? Although I verified that the Cruiser definitely has a charging system problem, it wasn't going to stop Barney from enforcing the law. And it didn't take long for him to get his first customer or start collecting citations. Well, Barn, you made enough in citations to get you eliminated. You ready to go get a new belt for that generator?
Sure.
All right, let's run down to Mark's. That generator light's making me worried. Now keep in mind that Barney is 2.5 hours away from his home in Massillon, Ohio. And Barney's Cruiser uses an antiquated charging system that is difficult or even impossible to find parts for.
What is he driving?
We're here to play Stump the Chump. After a quick introduction, it was time to start putting Mark and his crew to the test.
Really thought I was in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
You are in
I
trouble.
am in trouble. Oh, God.
Barney chose to start his search for parts with the weakest link.
Do you have the voltage regulator?
Wait.
Tyler was struggling to come up with part numbers while Mark went outside to try and diagnose Barney's problem. And although the Galaxy could definitely use a new belt, Mark's computer system is failing to bring up correct part numbers or part availability.
So open up the book. The hell with that computer. Here's Uncle Bucko. The hell with that computer. Get your book. See what number it shows you.
As Mark and Tyler struggle to come up with the parts we need to fix the Galaxy, I quickly find out that there's an APB out on me. Oh my God, what is this, a family reunion? Who are you talking to?
Jimmy Dave. Clay's trying to get a hold of you.
Oh.
Clay,
What?
Clay Millican. Yeah, he should probably go. All right. Okay, I'll tell him. All right. See you. Bye.
What's the
Clay
matter?
and Jeff are headed to your house right
Oh, In the midst of chaos down at the parts store, I had totally forgot that Clay Millican and Jeff Lutz were going to stop by the shop after they got done signing autographs at Power Tour.
Wow. Welcome.
Why, thank you.
Oh my gosh, this thing's gorgeous.
It's kind of a cool old car. And we can brag on it because
I
it's not actually
know.
ours.
Oh
we
my
didn't do nothing.
gosh.
We bought it this way.
Oh my gosh. This is Tanner. I'm Vicky.
Vicky, nice
I am
to meet
the old
you.
man's wife.
The old man's wife.
Barney and I hightailed it back to my shop so that we could meet up with Jeff and Clay, who definitely got a kick out of Barney in his '63 Galaxy patrol car. They had driven the CRC Brake Clean 57 Chevy Project car out to the Power Tour from Jeff's shop in Pennsylvania. After replacing a dead battery before they left home, the old carbureted small block Chevy powered 57 Bel Air made the trip over here without a single incident.
So when she stops filming, I'll tell you what we're going to do to this car.
I'm not at liberty to tell you the unspeakable, terrible things that Jeff Lutz and Clay Millican plan to do with his 57 Chevy. But I can tell you that Clay filmed the entire shop tour for his YouTube channel. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, search for Clay Millican on YouTube. Anyhow, while we were saying goodbye to Jeff and Clay, Barney and some of his friends from Massillon were busy trying to make repairs to the Galaxy.
All right, so what is going on, Barney?
Well, I let the old man drive my truck, and he wanted to work the siren.
Yeah.
Now listen to the generator.
Oh
And
no.
I need to tell him that's not the siren. He got confused.
Spin that again. Oh no. So you stopped at A1 and Mark got you another generator or
No,
what?
that's one thing you can't find alongside the road.
Oh.
This isn't my first rodeo. I've been carrying a rebuilt generator
Oh, you
for
had a
15
spare.
years in my trunk, knowing that I couldn't get one at A1 or anywhere else.
And this is the first time in 15 years that you've had to pull it out and get it installed?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Leave it to my husband to be the cause. No.
Once Barney got his spare generator installed on his Ford, it was time for everybody to clear out so he could give himself a sobriety test before he heads home.
I hope you guys make it back to Maslin, okay?
Yeah, we will. Goes out. Perfect.
Yay!
With Barney's charging system back up and running, he's got headlights to get home, but he can't see very well at night. So he said goodbye to everybody and played harmonica for Wyatt real quick before he heads back to Maslin.
Is that neat?
All right, Barn, you're all fixed up. You're ready
right.
to go.
All gassed up. There you go.
Charging system going?
Charging system's gone. No idiot light for the idiot.
I'll see you next trip.
I can go out on patrol with confidence. See ya, y'all.
See you, buddy.
What a day.
So that brings us to Friday morning, and I've got a handful of errands to run today, the first of which is a trip up to see everybody at the House of Pearls to drop off some hood pins for my Monte Carlo. All right, guys, so it's Friday, and I've got an errand to run this morning. I got to run up to the body shop and take some hood pins up for the hood on my Monte Carlo. I hope that things are going well with that front bumper. Paul texted me this morning and said he's ready for these hood pins. So I'm gonna run these things up there and see how things are going. I hope it's not giving them too much trouble. In other news, Uncle Bob's gonna bring his Camaro down today to a private test session at Trails. So after I get done running this errand up to the body shop, I'm gonna check in with Bob and see how he's doing. If he's gonna bring his car down, I'm gonna sneak down there and take some video of him making some test hits in his Camaro. Now, if you've been watching the videos, you may recall that when I dropped that Monte Carlo off at the body shop, the plan was to remove the stock front bumper cover and replace it with a fiberglass Outlaw unit that I'd bought from a guy down in Florida. Unfortunately, the bumper cover didn't fit, so we cut the apron off the bottom and attached it to the stock bumper, making it removable in case we needed to take it off to load the car on a trailer. So far, it looks really good, but there's still a little bit of fitment work to do before they can paint everything. They plan to get everything painted by next week, and then it'll be time for Nikki to cut and buff everything like she's doing to the Impala. They're also trying to get the Barracuda finished up next week as well. When I pulled in up the body shop, I couldn't wait to lay eyes on the Monte Carlo and see how everything's fitting up. And I was also excited to see how they plan to put these hood pins in, because I've never had a bougie set of hood pins like this before. Jesse pulled them out of the package and started mocking them up and assured me that there wouldn't be any problem making them work. He was also showing me all the details on how he cut this front valance to work with the stock original 78 Monte Carlo front bumper. And I can already tell once everything's painted, it's gonna look awesome. Dude, this thing is gonna look sick.
I like it.
Sick.
It's coming together better than I expected. I was a little nervous when we were chop it in half. I'm like, nothing else we can, but I mean,
there was nothing else we could do with it. I mean, unless you guys wanted to spend a month of labor screwing around, cutting it and chopping it and hoping to God that it would stay,
laying glass and
we ain't doing all that.
Devils in each thing.
I think I like the stock bumper better anyway, because it's already got the whole, it's the original bumper.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, it fits perfect. It doesn't look like a race car bumper. But man, that valance looks so good underneath there.
And it's urethane, so there's not going to be any tension problems like with fiberglass.
Right.
If you're pulling too tight somewhere.
Right.
You can get it off. Yep.
Yeah, and now that valance is removable if we need to remove it, to get it on a trailer or something, we can take it off.
Yep, so it's not ideal. We got riv nuts, and we have 12 riv nuts in the plastic, but then we did panel bond over top to create basically on the back. So it wouldn't pull through.
Okay.
And then we also got these braces.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jesse made. Yeah. I think we're good. I'm not stressed about this now.
As long as nothing hits it on the way, we're good.
I was never stressed about it. I don't know if you know that.
I know. You're great, but you know me. I try to overthink things. That's our job. We're supposed to. We don't want you to have. I know you're not worried about it, but that's because you trust us. I don't want to just do it knowing that maybe there will be an issue, and then we both got something else to deal with later.
Yeah. Then we got to fix it.
Yeah.
And then you're missing a balance again.
Yeah.
Look, I can't wait to see this thing all painted and put back together because this is going to look sick.
It's going to look awesome. It's going to look mean.
So as soon as we get this thing back to the shop, I got to start pulling the engine, transmission, drivetrain out of it and making the swap. And yeah, and then the guy up there in Michigan, Joe William, he is chomping at the bit to get this thing up there. Yeah.
When should it be done?
I don't know. I really have no idea how long he'll have it.
Yeah.
He says he's not going to have it very long, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bring it up when she's done.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to get going, guys. I don't want to hold you up any longer than I have.
Yes, sir.
Good.
All good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So once I got done visiting with everybody up at House of Pearls, I drove back down to National Trail Raceway to meet up with Uncle Bob and help him make some test hits today on his Camaro. Since tomorrow is the JaxWax Street Madness event here at the track, Bob plans on staying in the motorhome overnight after we make some test hits on the Camaro today and make sure it's ready to go for tomorrow. It's been almost 2 years since Bob's had his car out at the track to make any passes on it. His Camaro is powered by a 415 cubic inch small block Chevy running an alcohol ATM carburetor and backed by a Power Glide transmission. Bob's had some upgrades done to the Camaro since the last time he had it out, and that includes a new delay box, throttle stop, and all new wiring in the car. The Camaro launched pretty decent on the first pass, but it was evident that the engine was running with the throttle stop closed instead of open. Since the electronics in the car didn't seem to want to cooperate, Bob opened the throttle stop manually and set it with the stop bolt. Initially, the second pass seemed like it was going to be a lot better. However, the Camaro ran out of fuel at about 60 feet. Okay, now that we've got the throttle stop wide open, and now that we've got fuel in it, let's go up and make one more lick on this thing and see what it runs.
Yeah, kind of rusty. First time out in a long time.
It's okay, I would be too.
Yeah, it's been a couple years with some changes made to this car that I guess wasn't tested.
We had just enough time left to make one more pass on the Camaro before we needed to box everything up and head back to my house. With the fuel tank full of methanol and the throttle stop pulled wide open, the Camaro went right down the track. With only 36 degrees of timing in the engine and absolutely no tuning whatsoever, and leaving the starting line without a two-step chip, the Camaro goes 640 at a little over 106 miles per hour. So that's our starting point with the Camaro for the next time we go out. Based on what I saw today, I think the car needs a little bit more ignition timing in it, but the carburetor seems to be pretty close right out of the box. Within the next couple of weeks, I'd like to bring Bob's car back to my shop and go through the electronics and the wiring just to make sure that everything's ready to go for our next outing. But for right now, Bob's going to bring the motorhome and trailer back to my house and camp out in the driveway until the JaxWax event tomorrow afternoon. So we knocked the dust off, didn't we, Bob?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's what we were there for, to test and figure out what's going on. And we need to figure out that delay box a little better and figure out what the settings are. Yeah. Well, I've never used that particular box, so I'm not familiar with it regardless. But tomorrow will be a good time. Maybe we can turn the timing up on that thing tomorrow and see how fast it'll go. Sound like a plan?
Sound like a plan.
What's the plan for this thing tomorrow?
I'm gonna run that Supra with it.
You're going to grudge race the Supra
Grudge race.
against that?
Yep. American muscle versus import.
Oh my God.
He's just gonna run that thing straight over. It doesn't matter.
So who's going to drive the Supra?
Molly. Run motor to motor, or well, motor to her turbo.
Oh, you're not even going to give the 55 the nitrous, huh?
First race, we'll run her on motor. We know it runs 9s. If the Supra runs 9s, its first outing, I'd be happy.
All right. We'll see. The next day, we headed out to National Trail Raceway for the JaxWax event under beautiful blue skies and perfect weather. The JaxWax Street Madness events actually started as more of a block party right across from the original store on 17th Avenue in Columbus. But with the popularity and rapid growth of the events, the decision was made to move the Street Madness events to National Trail Raceway, where JaxWax could host not only a car show, but also offer the opportunity for participants to make passes down the track. This creates a perfect opportunity for first-time racers and veteran racers alike to spend a day at the track grudge racing and hanging out with friends and family, which is exactly what we plan to do this weekend. No matter what kind of an automotive enthusiast you are, or what you're into, there was something there for everyone. After we shuttled all our cars down to the track, Vicky and I hung out in the trailer with Wyatt for a little bit while the kids got the cars ready to race. After about an hour, he wasn't content to hang out in the trailer and watch television. He wanted to go out, ride the golf cart, and see all the cars. While we were babysitting Wyatt and cruising the pits, Molly tried to make a few passes in her Super. It kept losing crank trigger signal and wouldn't make a full pass. Allison and Tommy took the Dart up to start making some passes on it, and they had jetted the nitrous plate up from 100 to a 200 horsepower shop, and they plan on turning the bottle on once the sun goes down and the track starts to cool off. Just before sunset, it was time to start the burnout contest, and things got a little bit heated. Most of the people entering the burnout contest will do anything it takes to win, and the crowd is in charge of judging the contestants. Anyway, after the burnout contest, Billy and Molly took the 55 up to let her make some passes in it, since the Super was still having problems. It took 2 or 3 passes for her to get comfortable in the car, and I think it ended up going 1030s at 134. Unfortunately, Tommy and Allison didn't have the best experience jetting the nitrous plate up on the Dart, but we'll get into that later in the video. About the time that they turned the track lights on, I headed to the staging lanes with the Malibu to get it ready to make a nitrous pass. Typically, after a full day of test and tuning, the track surface is a little sketchy, so I left a very gentle street tune-up in the nitrous controller that I figured would probably go somewhere around 10 flat. The Malibu went 144 60-foot, leaving on motor, with the front shocks set 3 clicks looser on extension than what I would normally run. To my surprise, the Malibu went a little bit faster than I thought it would.
Holy shit.
The slow and delayed nitrous ramp only went 630 in the 8th, but 986 at 136 in the quarter. Shortly after I made my pass in the Malibu, it was time for everybody to pack up and head back to the house. But unfortunately, Allison's Dart wouldn't be making its way back under its own power.
I've helped push a lot of Chevys into that trailer, so.
True.
You know.
True. This is a first. This is a first. We've never had to push the Dart in my
Pretty sad.
recollection.
It's
Yeah.
really depressing.
I know. Dang it. Yeah, that was a lot. Thank you guys.
All right, good morning everybody. It is Monday and I am currently heading down to pick up Addie so that she can come help us film. The reason is because Jeff and Allison and Tommy are knee-deep in Mopar problems. They've got this Dodge they've got to put together with a Helicrate engine or some damn thing, I don't know, for roadkill nights. They are behind schedule. They're having problem after problem with trying to find some place to stick that engine that it'll fit without having to really cut up a car or a truck. They bought that Dodge Dakota and it won't fit in it. So then they brought that 72 Duster out to the shop, pulled it all apart, it won't fit in it. So they went and bought another vehicle. You have to check them out on Gen 2 Garage. So that means Tommy's not here to help film. So I'm gonna go pick up Addie. She's gonna help me film. I'm gonna help Billy film. So the other night when we were at JaxWax Street Madness, Tommy put some bigger jets in the nitrous kit, and I put a very conservative tune-up in the controller and it went down, but it wasn't as fast as what she was hoping. So I shortened the ramp up and I think it lifted ahead. Since the Mopar contingent is completely underwater with Mopar problems, they don't really have time to work on it right now. And I want to make sure that the Dart gets put back together. Allison was very, very sad the other night when that happened. Tanner and I, and maybe even Uncle Bucko, are going to work on the Dart today. We got to get at least the passenger side head pulled off of it and find out what, if anything, we can do to fix it. Hopefully it didn't hurt the short block and just nipped a head gasket. Most likely probably have to weld the head up. If it just lifted a head, that's one thing. If it torched a head gasket, that's another thing. Hopefully it didn't hurt a piston. We don't know until we get it apart. So I'm making my way down to pick up Addie, who lives about 45 minutes away from us in a little town called Nashport. The heat and humidity today is god-awful. It's so hot and muggy that you can almost see the humidity in the air. But thankfully, the air conditioning in my old Malibu is blown ice cold.
You ready to go, kid?
While I was on my way back from Addie's house picking her up, the guys from Sayre Heating and Cooling are at the shop getting ready to fire up the new air conditioning units for the very first time, and just in time to battle the extreme heat and humidity that we've got today. When I got back to the house, I parked the Malibu under the shade trees in front of the house, and then went back to check in with the guys from the heating and cooling company for an education on how my air conditioning can be controlled by remote.
Whoa. This means my wife can turn it on and off from bed.
No, because you have the app and you can lock the screen.
Oh, okay. Because what she does, she screws the thermostats in the house and in my shop, and inevitably I come out and the air conditioning's on. Well, we weren't home.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and then my shop's 90 degrees inside, and it takes that one forever to catch up.
I'll show you how to lock the screen so nobody can change it but you.
So it sounds like I'll have complete control over the thermostats in the shop, at least until Vicky figures out how to use these things and download the apps.
So how many years have you been in the business?
35.
35 years. So if anybody needs a little bit of heating and cooling work, Sayre Heating and Cooling out of Pataskla. What's the phone number?
It's 740-927-3609.
And you'll talk to John?
Well, any one of us, yeah. Amy usually answers the phone. So.
Amy answers the phone,
Yeah.
But John's the man.
Yep. We've done it for many years, and we've done around the Central Ohio area, so we go about 25 miles from our shop. So
Okay.
anything in the Columbus area around, all the way to Newark even. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate you, man.
No problem. Glad to help.
So now that we've got the air conditioning up and running in the new shop and in the merch office, it's time to get the dart pushed into my old shop and figure out what has gone wrong with it. I'm just hoping that whatever it is an easy fix, but typically that's not the case.
Guess what? You get to do Dodge things today.
I'm okay with working on a Mopar.
You hear what he said?
Yeah.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Tanner was born and raised a Mopar guy, although he doesn't seem to mind working on Chevrolets and Fords, and of course the occasional Toyota. But he seemed pretty excited to get to work on the Dart today. Our main focus for right now is just to get the cylinder heads pulled off the engine and find out what has gone wrong, and then come up with a plan to hopefully fix it.
Well,
We have a plan.
you have a plan?
We have a plan. That's all I can say for now. But
There is a plan.
there's a plan.
There's a plan.
There's definitely a plan, because she can't quit smiling. For somebody that just blew up an engine, she's awful happy. Unfortunately, it wasn't just a head gasket. We've got a hole in a piston, and there's some kind of a plan put in place to get the Dart back up and running, and it requires a stop down at Mark's.
You look a little short-staffed today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Who isn't here? April's here.
Yeah.
Thing 2's here. Where's Thing 1?
Oh, he's sick.
You should have heard all the he was talking on you the other day when you called off. Where's Thing 2?
He's at home sick. He's at home sick. Oh, what was he saying?
Oh, he said that you got your gaming system up and going, so you're not coming to work until you get tired of playing your video games.
You want to know something? I don't touch video games.
Oh,
I go home and watch TV. I don't play video games all night long like he does.
oh.
Yeah.
Wait till this video comes out.
So Tyler tries to get me to play video games after hours, and I'm like, dude, I just want to go home and relax. I don't want to stay up on the video game all night long.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, no, he's the one on the video game.
I'll have to rewind this video and find out exactly what he said, but I'm pretty sure he said you called off work because you finally got your video games up and
Yeah,
running.
no, I did get my internet, but I don't play video games. I watch TV when I get home.
You hear that?
These children.
I think that's how it went.
These children.
I go
I
home-
don't play video games. I don't even watch TV.
What
I
do
work.
you do?
I work.
You work? That's all you do is work.
4 jobs.
4 jobs.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How are you going to get this place straightened up if your attention is spread over 3 other jobs?
Because my attention's here Monday through Wednesday,
Oh,
and I'll put my foot down.
you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
All right, so I'm headed into JaxWax today. Obviously, we just had the JaxWax Street Madness event,
And we try to attend those whenever we can. And every time I'm there, I always take some drone footage for them. There's a lot more footage taken than ever gets in my videos or the kids' videos. And a lot of times I share that drone footage with other racers if they've got YouTube channels or other businesses for promotional purposes. And I always try and help Todd and Jared and Jax at JaxWax with sharing those drone clips so they can use them for reels and promotional videos. So I'm gonna head in there this morning and drop off the memory card out of my drone. And we've got a little meeting set up today with somebody that's pretty special. There was a scenario that took place at the track this weekend that I haven't shown in the video yet because it was ultimately pretty special. And we'll get to that here in a minute, but it's pretty incredible. The event when I was there this weekend obviously was well attended, and I got to meet some new people that I'd never met. I got to catch up with some people that I haven't seen in a very long time, some very good friends of mine that honestly I'm just so busy all the time that I get so overwhelmed with trying to keep up with filming and editing and keeping things going at the shop that it's easy to forget some of the things that have happened in the past, and you kind of, I don't know, it's almost like you can't see the forest for the trees, one of those situations. And so this weekend was a really good opportunity for me to reflect and catch up with some friends that I haven't seen or talked to in a very long time. And like I said, there was kind of a special scenario that took place up on the starting line this weekend, and Jack Miner, the owner at JaxWax, asked me to film it, and I said, Jack, I wish I would have known, because this is a really special thing that you've got going on here, but unfortunately I'm not very well prepared for it. So I filmed it, although the audio was mostly screwed up. I told Jack, listen, bring these people in today to the showroom, bring the car in, and we'll go over this, because it's, well, you'll see. You'll see.
Now, I've mentioned before that we always do our best to attend these JaxWax events anytime we can. Obviously, it's a really good time for everybody involved, but there's a lot more to these events and what goes on than just burnout contests and making passes down the track. It's also an opportunity to make memories and showcase not just the cars, but the history and the people who have been part of the JaxWax family for many years. And Saturday night under the lights at Trails, Jack Miner introduced everyone to Jared Foley. Jared was born with some severe heart problems, and by the age of 24 years old, Jared's mother has helped nurse him through 8 open heart surgeries and 1 heart transplant. Jared has been a fighter his entire life, and now he's fighting cancer. And as a cancer survivor himself, Jack wanted to do something to help lift Jared's spirits.
This was his absolute favorite track to race at, and as we celebrate our 60th anniversary, this 1962 Bel Air, when he passed away, he wanted to make sure his good friend, Bill Eubanks, was first in line to have the chance to buy this car. Well, Bobby's sidekick throughout his life at the end was his grandson, Jared Foley. Well, Bill is going to take his grandson, Jared, down the track tonight in his grandpa's car as a special tribute to the family of Bobby Weimer and Jack Miner.
When Jared's grandfather passed away a few years ago, Jack Miner helped arrange the sale of his 62 Bel Air to this man, Mr. Bill Eubanks, who was a very close friend to Jared's grandfather. Jack and Bill Eubanks arranged to bring the 62 Bel Air out to the track tonight to take Jared a ride down his grandfather's favorite track and his favorite car. A lot of people knew and dearly loved Bob Weimer, Jared's grandfather, who bought the 62 Bel Air as a race car, as seen here in a picture taken years ago with young Jared standing in front of his grandfather. Everyone who knows Jared is so proud of how hard he's fought and for his consistent bravery. And although his grandfather is no longer here with us, his 62 Bel Air still is, and is in pristine condition, thanks in part to Jack Miner for making sure the car went to the perfect home. Bill Eubanks has not only taken really good care of the car, he also makes sure to share it with Bob's family. And today at JaxWax headquarters, I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to everybody about the car and its history. So guys, this weekend was an excellent turnout.
Yeah, we were impressed.
It was really good. We were blessed with beautiful weather. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand or maybe don't realize that JaxWax isn't necessarily just about selling wax. Like, Jack has been into drag racing and cars his entire life, knows a lot of people. And the event this weekend was not just about test and tune or just about, you know, hanging out and doing burnouts and everything that happened. It's like a family get together. It really is. We had a great time, and if you guys get an opportunity to come out this fall, there's another one at Halloween, right?
October 5th.
October 5th.
That's the best one.
That's the best one.
You gotta dress up. After dress up, he's already full costume.
For the kids get to trick or treat.
Yeah.
Car, it's awesome.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that we get Jared out for that one too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, the car looks absolutely gorgeous. Looks like it's been well taken care of. And I really, really appreciate you guys sharing that special moment with me and Jack for putting that together. Because, you know, everybody's fighting a little battle that, you know, nobody really understands. You know, I happened to have an opportunity to come out and spend some time with a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while, who had been sick recently. And, you know, it's just, the whole weekend was just amazing. It was a good time, wasn't it? It's something that we'll all remember for a long time. And I'm really glad that I got to share that opportunity with you guys.
Yep.
All right?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, guys.